Penguin Random House presents The Victory Project, 6 Steps to Peak Potential by Saurabh Mukherje and Anupam Gupta. Read by J Haldar. Advance praise for The Victory Project. Today we live in a world which is knowledge and data rich, but time starved. At the same time, we need to keep our skills current to keep pace with rapid changes and disruption. This book provides an elegant framework for structuring continuous learning and for amplifying our creativity and potential while dealing with the intense pressure of our work. Nandan Nilekani, Chairman and Co-founder, Infosys, and Founding Chairman, UIDAI, Aadhaar. At a time when the formal education system in India is struggling to cope with the rapidly evolving skilling needs of the economy, this book provides a framework that industrious professionals can use for sustained personal development. T.V. Mohandas Pai, Chairman, Manipal Global Education and former CFO, Infosys. In a complex and fast-changing world, common sense, simplicity and focus bring tremendous competitive advantage. I think the book highlights the best attributes of all these important virtues. Motilal Oswal, Managing Director and CEO, Motilal Oswal Financial Services. I wish I'd had the benefit of the perceptive analysis and practical advice in this book when I was starting out. Avinash K. Dikshit, John J. F. Sherrod, 52, University Professor of Economics, Emeritus, Princeton University. Books which fuse the best practices from India with the teachings of leading Western gurus are rare. This one is an addition to that short list. The case studies and interviews contained in the book are particularly useful. Arundhati Bhattacharya, former Chairman, State Bank of India. In a networked and VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity world, where collaboration, grit and emotional maturity are often more important than functional knowledge, this book offers a powerful template for development as a holistic leader. Saugata Gupta, MD and CEO, Marico Limited. To my maternal grandparents, Archana and Pranab Kumar Chatterjee, for planting the reading bug in my head. Saurabh Mukherje. To my mother, Shubhra Saran, for the encouragement to read and write from as far back as I remember. Anupam Gupta. Forward. The subject of Saurabh Mukherje and Anupam Gupta's book is high performance. They prescribe a number of steps to achieve it and narrate sparkling stories to illustrate it. This is altogether fitting, for Indians have always learnt how to live their lives from stories, and that is why India has one of the richest storytelling traditions in the world. In this spirit, I would like to narrate a couple of my favorite tales that will illustrate the fundamental principles in this book. The first one, called The Mouse Merchant, is from an 11th century Shaivite Kashmiri anthology, Katha Sarita Sagar. It is a story about entrepreneurship, in tune with our age of startups, and demonstrates some of this book's principles in action: simplicity, collaboration, innovation, and determination. The hero of the story is a young man whose father, a merchant, had died when his mother was pregnant, and his wicked uncles had stolen his inheritance. His mother had since supported him by cleaning houses and doing other menial work. Though poor, she persuaded a teacher to instruct her son in writing and mathematics. When the boy grows up, his mother says to him, "Remember, you are the son of a great merchant. Go and make a fortune. Meet Vishakhila, the richest merchant in our city, and he will give you advice." The next day the young man goes dutifully to the rich man's mansion. While waiting outside, he sees a dead mouse in his courtyard. When the rich merchant appears, he asks him if he can have the dead mouse. Vishakhila laughs. "People come to me for money and favors. Don't you want anything?" "No, sir," said the young man, and he thanks him for the dead mouse. He sells the mouse to a widow with a cat who lives near his house. With a few paisa that she gives him for the mouse, he buys 2 handfuls of chana, which he grinds and makes into little packets of snack food. With a pot of water and his snack food, he goes and stands under a shady tree at the crossroads outside the city. In the afternoon, loggers arrive from the forest, put down their bundles of timber, and sit down to rest. The young man offers each of them a snack packet and water. They are grateful, but since they have no money to repay his kindness, each one gives him a log of wood. On the way home, he sells 1 log to buy chana and stores the other logs at home. The next day he repeats the same thing, and then every day for the next 3 months, until the logging season stops with the arrival of the monsoon rains. Because of its scarcity in the market, the price of timber begins to climb. His house is now full of wood, and he slowly begins to unload it in the timber market. By the end of the season, he has made a killing. He buys a shop in the timber market from his profits, and by the next season, he has become a timber merchant. He also finds that he has a competitive advantage over other merchants because the loggers know him as the young man who was once kind to them at the crossroads. Since they prefer to deal with him, his market share begins to climb. Before long, he becomes the richest merchant in the timber market. After a few years, he discovers that the profit margin from the building ships from wood is much higher than from trading the same wood in the timber market. He looks for a master carpenter who knows the art of building ships and persuades him to take him on as his partner. Soon he has become a major player in the shipbuilding business. Before long, he discovers that his shipping customers are making even higher margins than shipbuilders like him. He seeks and finds a shipper in distress, provides him with capital and common sense, and before long, he is running a successful shipping company. By now, still in his early 20s, he has become the richest merchant in town. He visits a jeweler and asks him to make a mouse of gold. When it arrives, he takes the mouse to Vishakhila, the wealthy merchant who had given him the dead mouse. He narrates his story and thanks him for getting him started with the sole capital of a dead mouse. The old man is delighted to hear this tale of entrepreneurial success and gives him his daughter in marriage. The Mouse Merchant contains most of the 6 steps to reach peak potential that Saurabh and Anupam describe in this book, and it may well inspire a generation of young entrepreneurs in our age of startups. Some of you will protest, arguing that this story is fiction and not a real-life case study, such as the kind you read and learn from in an MBA class. I shall say in my defense that I have learnt that the line between fiction and non-fiction is very thin. The difference is that fiction has to make sense, but nature and life do not. If you're not persuaded by my tenuous logic, I offer you this story from real life. When I was a practicing manager, I learned more about high performance from our new assistant security guard than from the 2 summers I spent at the advanced management program at Harvard Business School. We called him Kawade. No one was quite sure if it was his first or last name. He appeared one evening at our office at 5:30 p.m. to man the night shift. He was from a small town in western Maharashtra where he had completed 10th grade. He didn't know much English, and we laughed at the way he mispronounced our company's name. Kawade had a
Sample complete. Ready to continue?